Hi friends, today I am going to review the book, How to Enjoy Your Life and Your Job, selections from How to Win Friends and Influence People and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. Your job, a source of joy or just slogging through? Whether you are a corporate executive, a salesperson or an entrepreneur, you spend the majority of your life at your job. You have choices about how you approach this job. It can be drudgery or it can be pure joy. As you learn to uncover your ability to handle tough situations and to approach daily tasks with a new outlook, both your job and your life will become more fulfilling. You want to be content? Follow these rules. Follow these 7 rules and you're on your way to obtaining happiness and peace. Rule 1. Don't pretend to be someone you're not. To be comfortable in your own skin, you need to figure out who you are. What is your internal motivation, your clothing style, speaking style or writing style? Only one you exists on Earth. Make you unique. Rule 2. Prevent angst by getting organized. Clear your desk of everything except what you're working on now. You will be much calmer when you have order in your physical surroundings, because you'll no longer have the overwhelming feeling that you have an endless stream of projects to finish. When you start a project, finish it or delegate it to someone you trust before you go on to something else. Prioritize the most important projects first. The same goes for any problem that requires a decision. Solve it right away, don't put it off. Rule 3. Learn to relax while working. You don't get tired from mental work, you get tired from the stress and the strain related to that work. Check in with yourself throughout the day and make sure you are not making your work harder than it actually is. At the end of the day, assess your overall well-being. If you're tired, ask yourself why. Chances are, you have been inefficient in your work in some way. Rule 4. Don't get bored. When you get bored, you are likely to get tired, which slows down your productivity. Instead, make the most of the situation you are in and begin to enjoy what you are doing, regardless of how mundane it is. Rule 5. Count your blessings instead of focusing on your problems. Stop and ask yourself why you are so worried. Maybe there's really not much to be worried about after all. Rule 6. Don't take undeserved criticism personally. People won't bother to criticize you unless they are feeling inferior to you. Rule 7. Do your best and don't worry about what other people think. If you try to make everyone happy, you'll only succeed in driving yourself crazy, and you still won't make everyone happy. Criticism gets you nowhere. Examples abound of disillusioned people who blamed everyone but themselves for their misfortunes, an attitude that leads to disastrous results. One of the most infamous examples is Al Capone, the gangster, who used violence to bully his way through life. Although Capone was one of Chicago's most dangerous men in his day, he actually viewed himself as an upstanding citizen who did more good for society than harm. He thought he was simply misunderstood and unappreciated. Capone never saw his own imperfections. Instead, he blamed the results on others. No one is perfect, including you, so don't criticize others. You are something new in this world. Be glad of it. Make the most of what nature gave you. Criticism is dangerous for a number of reasons. As a manager, you can quickly demoralize your employees with criticism, which crushes egos, hurts pride and builds resentment. Condemning another person may make you feel better temporarily, but it almost never makes the situation better in the long run. Instead, gain respect from others by mustering all the self-control you can, and using it to be understanding and willing to forgive in every situation. In the end, people will not measure your greatness by how many employees you belittled or complained about, but by how many people you treated with compassion and forgiveness. I know from long experience that one is not always able to do things in the order of their importance, but I also know that some kind of plan to do first things first is infinitely better than extemporizing as you go along. Instead of blatant criticism, call attention to someone's mistake indirectly. Non-verbal cues often work. One public servant, for example, removed the door to his office to help his overprotective assistant understand that he wanted to be accessible to his constituents. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to mask criticism by adding a compliment at the beginning, followed by the word, but. This will only make the person wonder if the original praise was sincere. Instead, use the word, and. Openly admit your mistakes. If you need to criticize someone, start by talking about your own shortcomings. This simple technique will disarm the other person, make him or her feel less like an idiot and convince him or her to change. This works because you have admitted that you, too, are human. You've made similar mistakes. Use your personal story to explain how you overcame that mistake. Other people then learn from your experience and change their behavior on their own accord instead of having your viewpoint shoved down their throats. People want to feel important. It's true. The number one desire in human beings is the urge to feel important. That doesn't mean that everyone wants to rule the world. People just want to be appreciated and have a sense of purpose. Hard work by itself seldom causes fatigue, which cannot be cured by a good sleep. If you give someone an incentive to work by making them feel recognized and important, you will get so much more from them than if you criticize or condemn their actions. When superiors criticize their subordinates, they kill any ambitions their workers may have. Get the opposite effect by offering sincere praise. Be careful though, flattery and praise are not the same thing. Flattery is insincere and usually transparent. Get your way by doing what they want. You've probably been in a situation where you're trying to get someone to do something for you and they simply don't want to. You may try demanding what you want, begging or threatening, all to no avail. To get people to do what you want, emphasize what they want and then show them how they can attain it. Don't bother telling people what you want. Instead, focus on what they want. A genuine interest in others will get you far. Take a lesson from man's best friend, possibly the only creature on earth whose sole purpose is to make people feel loved. Dogs provide unconditional appreciation and love that can't be compared to the affection offered by people. Without the benefit of formal education, a dog just instinctively knows that to win people's affection, you simply need to be genuinely interested in them. Don't try to win attention by trying to get others interested in you. Instead, take the focus off yourself and focus on them. Worry, tenseness and emotional upsets are three of the biggest causes of fatigue. When you greet people, be enthusiastic and act as if you're really happy to see them, whether you are or not. This will help you gain friends. In business, it could also help you gain customers. If people perceive that you're sincerely interested in them, they will learn to trust you and will become loyal to you and your company. Be nice even when you have nothing to gain. The secret to having people like you is to be nice to everyone, whether you know them or not. It doesn't matter if you will gain something from the relationship, it's just common human decency. Everyone craves appreciation, approval and recognition, so when you make requests of others, add a few simple phrases to your vocabulary, such as, "I'm sorry to bother you," or "Would you mind?" or "Thank you so much." When you treat others as you would like to be treated, you help make the world a better place and you display your good upbringing. How to convince others you're right. Telling people they are wrong will never have the result of making them agree with you. You will only impel them to argue with you and you're almost guaranteed not to change their minds. When you tell people they are wrong, you are basically telling them that you are smarter than they are. If I do my work as if I really enjoy it, then I do enjoy it to some extent. I also found I can work faster when I enjoy my work. Instead, start your argument by admitting that you may be wrong, suggesting that they look at all of the facts and, then, allowing them to come to their own conclusions. This shows that you respect their opinions. They are likelier to see your point of view because you've helped them see it as their own. Most people don't have the skill to consider other points of view and ingest those ideas as if they are their own. If you can master this skill, you will have the rare gift of being able to convince almost anyone to do almost anything. The bottom line, be diplomatic. Sock it to M. And get no results. When you've been wronged, it's natural to feel like striking out against those who harmed you. But your hostile actions won't make the other person see eye to eye and, in the end, you may escalate the situation. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. As Abe Lincoln said, a drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gall. For amazing results, be friendly and use reason with your adversary. Most often, the other person will respond to your warmth with friendliness and you will be able to accomplish your goal. Get a yes and get your way. When you are trying to convince someone to see your point of view, begin by focusing on the points where you both agree. It's much easier to sway people to your way of thinking if they've been agreeing with you up to this part of your argument. The deepest craving in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Once they've said no, however, it's extremely difficult to persuade them otherwise. Emphasize that you are on the same team and working toward the same purpose. Once people say no, you are up against a major stumbling block. Now, their position has become a matter of pride and they don't want to change their minds. Instead of provoking a no, ask questions that you believe will elicit agreement. Soon, the same people who didn't agree with you will enthusiastically accept your opinion as their own. Preserve other people's egos. Regardless of whether you're right or wrong in a situation, don't point out other people's flaws, reprimand them or criticize them in front of others. In sticky situations, help people preserve their self-esteem by letting them save face. Don't worry about getting the credit. When you have a task that needs to be completed, the most effective way to get cooperation is to lead people to think that the solution was their idea. If we are so contemptibly selfish that we can't radiate a little happiness and pass on a bit of honest appreciation without trying to get something out of the other person in return, we shall meet with the failure we so richly deserve. To accomplish this, do 3 things. 1. Ask the other people what they would like to see accomplished. 1. Ask for their ideas on the best approach to completing the task. 1. In this discussion, subtly plant your ideas into another person's approach. My rule is never to lay down a letter until I have answered it. I dictate the reply to my secretary at once. Don't focus on the fact that your idea suddenly isn't yours anymore, but belongs to other people. Instead, relish the fact that you successfully accomplished your purpose. Takeaways. Never criticize others, it accomplishes nothing but hurt feelings. If you know you've done your best, don't let criticism bother you. Even the most mundane job can be made interesting. Count your blessings, focus on what's good in your life instead of what's not. Prioritize your work by importance, don't get bogged down with unimportant urgencies. Always find good qualities in people and tell them. The only way you can get someone to do something for you is to make that person want to do it. Talk to people about their interests, not your own. Become genuinely interested in other people. Make other people feel important, and be sincere about it. Did you know that around 70% of our viewers haven't subscribed to our channel yet? If you're one of them, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? It's a great way to stay up to date with our latest videos and support our channel at the same time. Join the majority of our community and subscribe today. Thanks for watching.